It's beginning to look a lot like draft season. What is up, everyone? Welcome to a reaction video here on the channel. I am Jeffrey Kirby, and today what we're going to be doing is reacting to Todd Mcshay's mock draft that he just released earlier today. Now, what we're doing with this is, like I just said, we're going to react to it, we're going to discuss, think what I like, see what the Steelers, who the Steelers are going to be taking, and seeing who your favorite team is going to be taking, unless you're the LA Rams, because you don't have a draft pick for the next 35 years anyway, so it don't matter. But, you like these kind of videos, smash that like button, hit the notification bell, hit the red subscribe button, drop a comment, who's your favorite team, and who do you want your favorite team to draft in the 2022 NFL Draft. Let's go ahead and check this out. So number one is Detroit taking Aiden Hutchinson. I think right now what's going on with that is it's going to be Aiden Hutchinson 1, Kayvon Thibodeaux 2, Kayvon Thibodeaux 1, Aiden Hutchinson 2. For me, I think it's just going to be preference. I do think the recency bias of Aiden Hutchinson having a great game against Ohio State, and I understand that there's been games played before or after this now with the Big Ten Championship, but I think that has a lot to do with it, and you'll see that throughout. Recency bias is huge when it comes to draft. As right there, number 2, Houston taking Kayvon Thibodeaux. It's going to be a good discussion to see who goes where between Hutchinson and Thibodeaux. Obviously, both teams are going to need pass rushers, and this is going to be something to watch out for too, is what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, because they're going to possibly be in need of a quarterback depending on what happens with them. Then we go into Jacksonville, who it's not looking good there. They get Evan Neal from Alabama. I have no problem with that. I think what you need to do is, if you're Jacksonville, because you need a lot, but one of the main things too is protecting your franchise. I understand Trevor Lawrence is not having the greatest years. He's also a rookie in a terrible situation. I hated Trevor Lawrence just out of college, just because of Ohio State. I held that grudge, but as a player, he was phenomenal. And obviously now that hate is gone. I have no issue with Trevor Lawrence now, but you need some blocking to help out with the run game. You're going to have Travis Etienne coming back next year, and it's technically going to be rookie year. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. And then you get James Robinson, who was an undrafted free agent last year, who broke out, and they're going to need some help on the offensive line. Number 4, the New York Jets taking Derek Stingley. This is no surprise to me at all. You got Robert Saleh, who is your head coach. He's a very defensive-minded coach, as we all know. And I'm not surprised whatsoever here for the Jets taking a defensive player. And I believe they get they have another draft pick here, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do with that pick. I would predict, if you want to go offense, to give Zach Wilson something, or it also wouldn't surprise me if you go back-to-back defense, but I feel like they're going to go offense here. The Giants taking George Karlov. I'm going to have to learn how to pronounce his name. I apologize for A, Purdue fans, and B, for just anyone who is a fan of this guy. So yeah, they're going to need some pass rush. They are 25th in sacks at 25. You're going to need you're definitely going to need some pass rush, especially. So far not really any of a surprise. Number 6, Carolina taking Charles Cross from Mississippi State. This is going to be an interesting pick here, depending on where they pick, because they're a wild card team. Not a wild card team. There's about 10 teams that I could see legitimately going after a quarterback in this draft class, and this is one of them. So this is going to be, in my point, a pressure point. That's what I like to call them. I like to call them pressure points on where quarterbacks could possibly go. So this is one. Jamison Williams would be interesting here as well. But at the same time, I think in this case, if it's not offensive tackle, I got a weird feeling they will go quarterback here. And I sure as hell hope not. But it's going to be something to watch out for. Do I think Sam Howell's a guy that's going to go QB1? No. But it would be interesting for him to stay in Carolina. But it's going to be interesting really on who goes number 1 in terms of quarterbacks between Kenny Pickett and Matt Corral from Ole Miss. Number 7, the Giants taking Nakobe Dean, linebacker from Georgia. So here they go back-to-back defense. So they don't give or they don't really get anything for Daniel Jones, and that's going to be another interesting thing is how do they feel about Daniel Jones into his or after his third season? It's going to be something to watch out for. But yeah, Jameson Williams would make sense here, but I also think getting another linebacker to pair up with Blake Martinez, who's a tackling machine, is going to be nice. Who, like he says here, returning from a torn ACL, Blake Martinez says. It's going to be interesting to see here. Okay, so Jameson Williams going to the Falcons. This would be fun to see because now you get Calvin Ridley. You just got Kyle Pitts last year in the draft. Now you get Jameson Williams. That's going to be fun to see. But now it's going to be what can the defense do? Yeah, see, here you go. Will the Falcons upgrade in the trenches on either side of the ball? They are the worst with 16 sacks. So if you get a guy like George Carla, he could be a guy that would definitely go to Atlanta as well. Or just maybe whoever is their second or third best pass rusher, if he falls here, something to watch out for as well. Number 9, the Jets take a Kyle Hamilton, and he's going to be an absolute stud. I like this kid a lot. And I've actually seen comparisons to Ed Reed for this kid, and that's some pretty high praise. So, but again, so as I predicted with the Jets, they go and get back-to-back defensive players, and this would be a huge help. Number 10, the Eagles taking David Ojabo from Michigan, who also had another great season for Michigan, 10-plus sacks, 11 here, and 14 tackles for loss. This would just, like they mentioned here, Brandon Graham's going to be 34. He will be 34. You're going to want a guy to maybe find a way to take that spot, or add some depth there as well. So I really have no issue, and obviously this pick was from Miami. Las Vegas taking DeMarvin Leal, a defensive lineman from Texas A&M. That would be pretty nice here when you got Yannick Ngakoue, Max Crosby, who's having a hell of a year. And here you're getting value according to Todd McShay. He's the number 6 prospect on his board. You drafted Cleveland Ferrell, 4th overall in 2019. So obviously he hasn't been the player that they were hoping to get in 2019. So now you're hoping to get a guy who, like he says here, is versatile. He has a quick first step. And he could turn speed to power, which I love those kind of players who could turn speed to power. For those that don't understand it, so when you hear speed to power, and you're going to hear this a lot, it's just pretty much you're able to use your speed, but then you could also dominate him with strength as well. And you love guys like that because you get speed rushers, you get power rushers, and then you get guys who could do a little bit of both. And this is what we like to see. Number 12, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the first quarterback coming off the board, Kenny Pickett, quarterback from Pittsburgh. Obviously, here, it says Ben Roethlisberger is likely in his final year. We all know it is. We all knew that from the jump. To bring a successor who is not currently in the building. I know a lot of people are still on the Aaron Rodgers wave. For me, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of veered my way out of the Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me wrong. If Pittsburgh wanted to get Aaron Rodgers, that's great. I just have the fear, not that he's going to fall off a cliff like what Max Kellerman used to say about Tom Brady, but I feel like I would rather, you look at the division now where you have Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. I feel like I would, if you're Pittsburgh, you're gonna want one of those you're gonna want a young quarterback as well who's going to compete with those guys for years and years and years to come. And especially if you're gonna go into a possible rebuild or retool, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the way to go. Get yourself a young quarterback, let him grow, let him develop, help that retooling process, and then you move on forward. Number 13, again, we get another quarterback here. Washington taking Matt Corral. He's another pressure point, Washington's another pressure point team for quarterbacks as well. Taylor Heineke. People are high on Taylor Heineke. I think it's a cool story, but no, he's not really the guy. And I could this is absolutely no surprise here for me that Washington would go Matt Corral. and I actually think it's a smart move on their part. The Eagles go ahead and taking Devin Lloyd from Utah. Utah has been a pretty damn good team, and Devin Lloyd is a big part of that as well. And the Eagles, again, here they go and get themselves, they go 2 defensive players, and, yeah, I could definitely see them going wide receiver. And in my opinion, if you're not going to go defense, you need to go wide receiver if you're Philadelphia. I think you want to try to get Jalen Hurts another weapon or so. Drake London is a guy to watch out for. Maybe a guy like Garrett Wilson from Ohio State or Chris Olave. Whatever your kind of preferences or whoever they have ranked highest on their board. That's going to be something to watch out for as well. Minnesota taking Ahmad Gardner from Cincinnati. So the first Cincinnati player to come off the board. This is going to be a fun matchup to watch, Ahmad Gardner versus Jameson Williams. For those who are high on either or, this is just going to be a great matchup overall. And it's really going to show, because if Ahmad Gardner could go out there and just absolutely ball out, maybe not, if you could lock up Jameson Williams or hold him to not a huge game, that is really going to help your stock. So that's going to be something to watch out for as well. Yeah, you get Patrick Peterson, Brashad Breeland, and Mackenzie Alexander all on expiring deals. Their defense was not good. Obviously, the Steelers just played them. But yet again, yeah, we all know how that goes. Number 16, the Cincinnati Bengals taking Tyler Linderbaum from the center from Iowa. Yes. If you are Cincinnati, I understand that Ja'Marr Chase, what he's done this year for Cincinnati has been phenomenal. I also drafted him in fantasy, so shout out to those who gave me shit for that. Not anyone here in the comments. This was before, but that's a whole different story. Me and a bunch of other people were thinking you should have won a guy like Penei Sewell. They went Ja'Marr Chase. They wanted to get get Joe Burrow a weapon. But I think here you really, really, really need to protect the franchise there, Cincinnati, because you do not want Joe Burrow to become another Andrew Luck where he has to retire early just because of the amount of nagging injuries that he's dealt with. You do not want that. So if you're Cincinnati, you need to get yourself a guy to protect your quarterback, and why not start? And Iowa is a offensive lineman factory. So any offensive lineman that comes out from Iowa, I have full trust in. Any offensive lineman that really comes out of Wisconsin, I have trust in. The Big Ten overall is just a factory for offensive linemen. I hate Michigan. We all know that. But you get guys like Taylor Lewan, who I absolutely love, came out of Michigan. And so yeah, Joe Thomas came out of Wisconsin. Tristan Wirfs, who was my number 1 tackle in 2020, he was, I believe out of the big, he went to Tampa Bay, but I loved him, and you see what he's doing there. So that's something to watch out for. Denver getting and I'm happy that they went Malik Willis here from Liberty. Shout out to Caleb. With Denver, another pressure point team. You got Teddy Bridgewater, but is he really your guy? I'm happy here that they mentioned you get Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert in that division as well. These are all teams to watch, especially Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, there was a report came out that said that Denver would be one of the 3 teams he's willing to waive his no-trade clause to. So that's something to watch out for. Aaron Rodgers is always going to be a question mark. Deshaun Watson, if he's available, or depend on what goes on with the legal stuff. Or if they want to go here, they want to go, in this case, they don't want to trade for one of those guys. You get Malik Willis, you get yourself a young quarterback. And then, well, Teddy Bridgewater will go and be another bridge quarterback for someone else. Number 18, the Cleveland Browns taking Drake London here. They need a wide receiver badly. Obviously, we all know what happened with Odell. Jarvis is going to be an interesting thing to watch out for. There's a chance that they might want to move on from him. Then you get guys like, you just drafted Anthony Schwartz in the 3rd round last year. You have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's a 6th round steal. But you definitely need to get yourself another wide receiver. And it's going to be based on how they feel. Maybe a guy like Garrett Wilson. I could see either Drake London or Garrett Wilson going to Cleveland, and either of those would be phenomenal for Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski in that offense. Number 19, I like what New Orleans did here with Desmond Ridder, quarterback from Cincinnati. They were another team that I was looking at for a possible quarterback, and here, I'll show you. We're going to go full screen here for a second, because I have a list. Shout out to Hunter. We were having a conversation. I'm sorry for the reflection. I'll name off the teams. Washington, as we've seen. Atlanta, depending on how they feel about Matt Ryan and what they want to do with their future. Carolina, New Orleans, as we just saw right here. Houston, depends on how they handle the Deshaun Watson situation. Pittsburgh, we already saw. Denver, we already saw. The Giants is a wild card team, but they're a team to watch out for based on how do they feel about Daniel Jones. Seems like there are some Giants fans that are into him. I'm not high on him at all. They're a wild card team to watch out for. And then obviously Detroit. Is Jared Goff really the guy? I don't necessarily think so. And you know what? I will put Seattle in there. Why not? How they feel about Russell Wilson? What are they going to do with him? There we go. Yeah, Garrett Wilson. This would be a nice fit if you decide to go. If you decide to stick with Jameis Winston. I almost said Jameson Williams there. But Garrett Wilson would be a guy that would be a great weapon for Jameis Winston. Wow, I'm losing my mind. Number 20. Speaking of Garrett Wilson, Philadelphia, they get themselves a weapon. This is great for Jalen Hurts. Garrett Wilson is going to be a stud. I'm just saying that right now. He's going to be a stud. No bias. Actually, no. Yeah, bias aside. Alrighty, had to take a quick drink break. My throat is dry as hell. All right, number 21. Miami taking an offensive tackle here. Now, again, not a surprise here. I like the fact of protecting your quarterback at Tua Tagovailoa. Again, the run game is not good, so you're going to need a guy who, and you like this too, a guy who could be versatile. You could play on the outside or on the inside, either or. So that's something that you like as well if you're Miami. Baltimore, Trayvon Penning, offensive tackle from Northern Iowa. Again, yeah, Alejandro Villanueva. He's 33. He hasn't been the greatest. He's not been bad, but he's not been the greatest for him, especially with Lamar Jackson back there. I think you're gonna want a younger guy who could go out there and block. And then Ronnie Stanley, he's been just very injury prone the last few years. And again, not necessarily all on the offensive line, but a league high 47 sacks. That's got to come down. I know all that's not on the offensive line. It's the way that just Lamar Jackson moves around in the pocket, which again, real quick, let's hope that Lamar Jackson's okay. Hope he doesn't have to miss any time. Buffalo going Roger McCreary here, cornerback from Auburn. You know, their defense has not looked as good as we all thought and anticipated throughout the year, and it would be depth behind Tre'Davious White. But yeah, I like this pick a lot. So far, there's really not any picks that I truly disagree with. Los Angeles taking Jordan Davis from Georgia. There's going to be some things to watch out for when it comes to Jordan Davis, and what I mean by that is his effort in just going full go throughout the game. Jordan Davis, it seems like he'll take plays off. I understand he's a big guy, but it's just going to be something to watch out for. I could definitely see a guy like Jordan Davis falling out of the first round, and that might be me being harsh, but it's something to watch out for. If they wanted to reach on an offensive tackle here, that would be something to watch out for as well. Hey, Detroit getting Sam Howell, quarterback from North Carolina. And you know what makes this draft fun is the fact that A, we don't know what quarterback's going number one, or there's not a quarterback that's going first overall. And B, we don't really know what the order of the quarterbacks are going to be. And that's what made like the 2018 draft fun. You knew that you didn't even know that Cleveland was going to take a quarterback at number one. There were rumors that they could have possibly went for a guy like Saquon Barkley. We didn't know what quarterback it was going to be. For the longest time, it was Sam Darnold. Then we heard a little bit of Josh Allen. Then towards the end, we were hearing about Baker Mayfield. And then obviously they go and draft Baker Mayfield number one. Tennessee here, Andrew Booth. Junior cornerback from Clemson. You got Mike Vrabel as your head coach. He's a defensive-minded coach. Again, took Caleb Farley and Kristen Fulton last year. You wanted to continue to maybe add on to that secondary in terms of young depth. Titans have allowed 30 passing yards of over 25 plus. Whew, that's a lot. Dallas taking Trayvon Walker, a defensive end from Georgia. I mean, yeah, you drafted Micah Parsons last year. He's been absolutely phenomenal. Should be the defensive rookie of the year. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's on a big contract. He's going to be 30 next year. You could never have too many pass rushers. You can never have too many defensive ends. And so I don't really have an issue with this. I don't really see them going anything on offense. Unless they wanted to go off. Now, I was going to say offensive lineman, but I don't really see that. So anywhere on the defense I would be okay with for them. Number 28, Green Bay taking Chris Olave. This is going to be interesting. Reason being, as they mentioned here, Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdes-Scantling are both primed to be free agents. I think what Devontae Adams is going to depend on what happens with Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers goes, Devontae Adams is going to go. You're going to need to replenish a little bit of that wide receiver core, and why not go after a route running machine who is too sweet like Chris Olave. Kansas City taking Jahan Dotson, a wide receiver from Penn State. Hell, why not? Get Patrick Mahomes another weapon, but I could also see them going somewhere on defense as well. Wherever, honestly. They couldn't go wrong on defense. Number 30, Arizona taking, was it Kaiir Elam? If I pronounce that name wrong, I do apologize, from Florida. Robert Alford may not be back, and Byron Murphy has been more of a slot corner this year. You got a guy who had 19 pass breakups and 6 interceptions over 3 years at Florida. Again, can never have too much secondary help, and you would love to have that if you're Arizona. New England taking Treylon Burks, a wide receiver from Arkansas. Just get Mac Jones another weapon and just watch him go. That's all I got to say about that. And number 32, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be taking Cameron Thomas, a defensive end from San Diego State. Basically, a fact that you're going to have to replace one of these two or both. I haven't really been paying attention all that much to him. In fact, let's go take a look at what his stats are. All right, Cameron Thomas, 10.5 sacks, 68 tackles, and a forced fumble. You like to see the 10.5 sacks. That's a guy that you would want to have to help replace either William Golston and or Jason Pierre-Paul. And again, you got Bruce Arians. There's nothing that you need on offense, and why not go and get yourself a little bit of depth on the defensive side, where they've struggled a little bit and have not looked as good as they did in their Super Bowl run in 2020. There you have it. There is my reaction to Todd Mcshay'S mock draft. We're going to be doing this throughout the process of the draft as well. We're going to have a lot of draft stuff going on here on the channel. We got an announcement for you guys. Coming up here on the channel, starting on December 19th, every day at 7 o'clock p.m., except for on Thursday, we're going to do 7:30. It's going to be 7 days of Ben Smiths. And what that is we're going to be reacting to seven different kinds of videos for Ben Roethlisberger. One of them is Ben Roethlisberger clutch moments. One of them is, in fact, here I have the list right here. Clutch moments and game-winning drives. Ben playing on one leg versus Cleveland. That'll be a throwback video. Rookie year highlights. 500-yard passing games, because he's technically had 4. We reacted to 3, and I'll explain to that into that video. 2018 passing highlights when he was the league leader in passing yards. Career highlights, that'll be on Christmas Day. And Super Bowl 43 highlights. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Stay safe, everyone. Make sure, again, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that. Peace.